The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
Blessed.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. 17. Abba Noah, Shabbat Shemaya, Kodash Haya Shemha Ahaya, Malawakka Kaba'an, Ratazonka Haya Asham, Ba'arataza Kawa, Haya Bashemaya, the thunder Noah, the Kong How Yawam, Wasalak Noah, Kawak Noah, Hasalak Noah, Kawak Noah, Wala'a, Kabayak Noah, Anasaya one above, our shy Noah, Manrad Bayalata, Kamalakwa Waha Allah, Ahatha Ara, La Iwalamia, Aman. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. 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 Amen.
Blessings, blessings, brothers and sisters. We are the elders of the Gathering of Christ Church. Blessings to my brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. Shabbat Shalom. We're here with a serious lesson breaking down how hell has been released on earth, what that means for us, and what exactly we have to do to overcome the hell. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Shalom, shalom. And we're going to jump right in. Hell on earth. A condition where humanity experiences the consequences of rebellion, corruption, fear, and judgment. Hell on earth is not just fire and destruction. It is what happens when societies lose truth, lose order, and lose mercy, and forget God. Hell on earth begins spiritually before it manifests physically. Now, why am I going into this today? Because guess what? Earthquakes in diverse places isn't just HARP. The seismic activity that we see in the earth is opening up what? Chambers between the hell realm, the realm we can't see, and our three-dimensional earth we can see. And we're going to go into it today because most people are what? Are distracted or has cognitive dissonance, where they would rather believe nothing is happening to use that as a safety net. But guess what, folks? Just discarding or claiming you don't believe it or not, that's not a hedge. The whole earth will experience what's about to go down according to what? The prophecies contained in the Bible, whether they want to accept it or not. See, I would rather know. Knowing is half the battle. So we're going to talk about that today in this serious lesson that I hope through the Spirit of the Almighty resonate to those who are listening and or viewing this Sabbath lesson. We give all praise to the Most High, Ahaya, in the name of Yeshua, and that's his name, through the Ruach. We give full honor and glory and reverence to the throne. Elder, so we can go into this lesson, please let's start off here with a Shema, or not, the Lord's Shema. Let's read it, or say it.
Shema Yasha'Allah Ahaya Allahaya Nawa Ahaya Achad.
Shema Yasha'Allah Ahaya Allahaya Nawa Ahaya Achad.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. All right, brothers and sisters, jumping right in. Jumping right in. And if you can do us a favor, folks, if you can do us a favor, please hit the like button. They have the new hype button, whatever that is, because you all know they don't want the world to hear what's being taught here. Okay, we're under a shadow ban. And to prove we're under a shadow ban, how can you have 135,000 subscribers for well over a year and a half, and it's even? Not 135,001. So all of a sudden, we get to 135,000 and someone hits the stop button. Well, this is as far as we will allow you to grow. When common sense will tell us there's way more than 135,000 people subscribe to this channel. That's number one. But it's okay, as long as the truth get out there. We don't need it, but we're under a shadow ban. Okay? At the same time we're under a shadow ban, they're doing the same things with the comments. Right? Some of these lessons are resonating. Most of them are thought-provoking, which means it would lead to some level of discourse if one disagrees, or it would lead to someone actually making a comment on whatever content that's discussed within the video. But yet, we can have a video out there, 15,000 in a few hours, 20,000 before the day is out, or within 24-hour cycle, and it will show 12 comments. Mm-hmm. Which also showing you they're striking people from seeing comments. They don't want the interaction. Why? Well, if someone responds to your comment, they have to come to the channel, which give the channel another view. So they'll be like, you know what? We're just going to take away your comment altogether. You may see it or think you see it when you come to us, but it's not being registered. Mm-hmm. And what does that do? That'll frustrate people and make them believe that we are deleting their comments when we're not. And it'll frustrate you to the point where, well, if you're going to ignore what I say, then I'm not going to look at your video. See what they're doing? See what they're doing? So they'll frustrate you to make you think that we're deleting. Now, when people troll, we do get rid of that. But if you have a comment, whether it be something that, even if you disagree, it still should be showed on the comment section, but they won't even allow it. And guess what? We have no problem with people disagreeing. There's a such thing as healthy discourse, where some people are not disagreeing just to be on the other side, of an argument or conversation. Some people disagree because they genuinely disagree. It's something that they probably need understanding on. So we welcome those comments also if it's honest. Okay? If it's honest and you truly are standing on something that you believe prior to this, and you really want to understand what is the disconnect, that's what teaching is for. See? So we're under a shadow ban, brothers and sisters. So understand, we don't delete comments and all that. We don't do all that unless someone is just a serious contrarian, where they're just coming just to cause discourse or disrupt the work. Okay? So yes, we know there's a shadow ban if we have 20,000 views and only 10 comments. All right. But it's to be expected. So I just want you all to understand, persevere with us. Don't get frustrated. Understand that they're messing. We believe they're messing with this channel, and we have proof of it based on the fact that you can't stand at 135,000 subscribers even for over a year and a half. That's literally impossible. Okay? That's literally impossible. So, again, what they'll do by hearing this, they'll probably show in a few days that there's 135,050 subscribers. But they go in increments of tens. They never show each subscriber one at a time, and that's intentional. Right? Look, someone is confirming what I'm saying here. The like button disappeared before. I had to put the video on full screen to find the like button. Someone says, Elder, they did that to me. Right? So again, let's persevere. What they're trying to do through the Spirit is cause some type of negative experience where people would get discouraged. All right? And guess what? We could care less because we were doing this not because of the likes and all these other things from the beginning. It's to bring forth the word. But do not get discouraged. Hit the like button so other people can come and find out what's going on at the end of the world. All right? The earth is changing. Is this hell on earth? Well, let's go in. What's going on? In Africa, a huge crack in the ground in Africa could split the continent in two. So what's going on here? A 50-foot deep crack in the earth has appeared Africa that some scientists say is a sign of the continent, that the continent will split in two. We're seeing a crack that in all likelihood formed over many thousands of years, hundreds and hundreds of years. Ben Andrews, a geologist with the Smithsonian, said. What is going on? Some scientists, and here they go with the lies now. You can't tell me what happened yesterday. So you're going to let me tell us that this started. Look at this round number. This is something that the plate movement that could result in the continent splitting in two. This is the first tectonic disaster that we have experienced or understood since 50 million years ago. You can't tell us what happened yesterday. So this is how these Satanists pull this garbage out of their orifices to make you believe that this is just a normal phenomenon that happened every so often, every 50 million years. See that? Well, no. Because if they put out a number like that, automatically if you believe that the earth been here that long, it discredits the timeline according to the Bible. And it throws you from the only book that can explain this crack in the ground. The Bible. What if something is getting released through these particular earthquakes? Suppose there's something under the earth that is now affecting the psyche of the people who have turned to sin. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this because this story is not just a one-off, brothers and sisters. It's not just a one-off. Seismic activity out of nowhere is happening on the West Coast. Seismic activity, they're not talking about it, that may lead to a serious earthquake that will what? Utterly decimate the coast going inland of California. No one is talking about this. No one is talking about this. New evidence suggests that the earthquake threat of the big one could be even worse than scientists thought. The New York Post. Everyone is posturing for this, folks. And they're not letting you know exactly what's going on. At the same time, they're talking this ground zero, patient zero garbage of a disease that automatically just popped out of nowhere that sounds eerily familiar to what? The theater that we just seen not too long ago leading up to what? Lockdowns, people staying in their houses, vaccinations and others. Right? They're talking about what? A scare with the disease, starting with patient zero. It should stay at patient zero. It will stay at patient zero if what? The world reacts with a sound mind and don't allow these stories to affect you. Well, it's at patient zero. Well, I tell you what, we're going to leave it there because we're not dealing with it. We could care less about it. So here it is, all of a sudden they come in with a patient zero. Right? I wanted to show y'all that. And it only will take effect if the people believe it. How do we know this? When they came with the swine flu years ago, people didn't bite and the story went away. It seems as if they were trying to do what they did a few years ago under that virus. Well before that, in 2010 and 2009, with the swine flu. But no one cared about it. No one was scared about it. No one reacted to it. So, right? So I just want to put that out there. So that's a non-story as far as I'm concerned. Now, it's every Californian's worst nightmare. Now, experts are warning the big one could be even worse than feared. And thank you all for your support. We love you. We thank you. And may the Most High bless you all for the continued support you do for the church. Now, experts are warning the big one could be even worse than feared due to horrific domino effect that could wipe out the West Coast. Science Daily this week highlighted a concerning study from Oregon State University showing a seismic event on the Cascadia subduction zone could trigger the San Andreas fault line. The San Andreas fault line, we're used to hearing the big one, Cascadia, before this catastrophic huge thing, said Chris Goldfinger, a marine geologist at the college and lead author of the study. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but everyone is talking about the seismic activity that right now is going on outside of what? The borders of California. Now, folks, there was some serious seismic activity before. In the beginning, during the time of Noah, folks, the earth was one landmass called Eden. One landmass called Eden. Folks, if you can take all of the earth that fell into the seas and bring it up to surface, you can take all the continents and connect it like a puzzle. The earth before the flood was one what? One earth. One Eden. Because of sin, there was great earthquakes that broke that one area, that one Eden, into continents and drifted west, the land of angels, California. It's not called Los Angeles for nothing. Okay? These were lands that were connected to what? The fallen ones pre-flood. And earthquakes separated the earth, separated Eden. Okay? The earth was one mass. The Gentile historians called it Pangean. The land was like a Pangean. The Pangean, they call it theory that the earth was one place, one landmass. So we're going to talk about it because what? The earth broke up. But what's in the earth that comes through the seas, you need to find out what was bound, what led to these earthquakes. What's down there that's getting released? Now, before I go into that, Hence the reason why, let me pull it up. Let me read this also from the Economic Times. Now, why is this so important? Why is this so important from a political standpoint, an economical standpoint? Because all of this, disasters and all of that, affects the markets. Hence the reason why those that deal with stock and all that look into these things to prepare what's going to happen to them financially in case of a disaster. Right? Then it's politically. And then it comes down to what? It comes down to all the way down to how the government is going to manage the people in the event of a disaster. California braces for the big one. Seismologists warn of a massive earthquake that could strike any time. Folks, it's going down. Economic Times is talking about this. California may face a massive earthquake soon, according to a report in Newsweek. The Andreas Fault, they're talking about it. California and the San Francisco Bay Area, depending on the rupture location. And they're talking about a 10 on the Richter scale. Rising concerns. Now, of course, we're going to have the conversation with the body we have in California to talk about this, right? We're going to have that conversation next week, all in all. But folks, this is going to affect everything, not just California. Not just California. Now, we talked about this years ago. How long have we been talking about it? Well, what's going to happen? What did we say years ago? So we don't have to rehash everything, because I want to talk about today the spiritual side of this. What's getting released more so than the earthquakes itself. Okay? We've been talking about it for years. What's going to happen? We told people, don't worry about Russia. Russia ain't the issue. Okay? Russia, they're Edomites. Outright. So they are still in line with the Vatican. We told people years ago, keep your eye on Iran. Why? In a nutshell, so I'm going to deal with the whole thing. Because Iran is the one in prophecy, the ambassador that's going to come against Babylon. The new daughter of Babylon, America. And that eventually that will lead to missiles getting launched. Where it tell you in 2nd Esdras that those missiles come to Babylon. Now, this is where it gets interesting. There's already activity happening down there. But what they're not telling you is that all of the power plants throughout the United States are on a fault line. Folks, that's intentional. You don't strategically throughout the whole earth take power plants and put it in a place where there's seismic activity that can crack it open. That's well planned. That's strategically thought out. So that if there's one hit, just like if you was to crack a glass, what happens? You crack a glass and it keep on cracking and cracking until pop, it breaks. It breaks. Common sense will tell you that if you put nuclear plants throughout the earth in strategic places on fault lines, well, one earthquake or one bomb hit at the right spot will destroy the entire economy of the United States. The entire, matter of fact, let me show y'all this. Let me see, hold on. Let me see if I can get this to y'all real quick. There was a map that I showed on Patreon. Let me see if I have it here. 1 second. Let me see if I have it here. There's a map that I had on Patreon to show you the old Navy map that the Navy had out there in the event of an earthquake. Hold up. Let me see. It's an old Navy map. Let me see it. Right here. Right here. There it is right there. Let me show it to you all. Here is an old doomsday map that they updated from an old Navy map. Right? From an old Navy map. Showing what happens in the event of, and thank you all for your support, in the event of the great earthquake. Look at this right here. All of this now is underwater. Look at this. So America is being separated into 3 separate parts. 3 separate parts, folks. And also I showed this from the United States Archives on Patreon. This is not just a made-up map. This is a map where the military is planning in the event of a great earthquake. Why am I going here? Well, the war leads to that. This is how the EU, Europe, consolidates power after destroying the only threat to the European power, which is America. Now, what they would like to do, they would like to take the guns from those in America, but they know that that's what? That's an impossibility. They've tried. And the people in America isn't biting, which means America in of itself is a standing army of millions. Just with the fact that Americans have the right to bear arms. So the only way Europe is going to get their power, I'm going to show you this in a moment, is through war, instigating the war with Iran, and the fault line blowing. That's right. That leads to America breaking in 3 parts. That's the only way. So now, so the EU, that's right, Europe now, brothers and sisters, they must set up the economy and the infrastructure for the earth, knowing that America will lose its power forever. Revelation 16 and 19, Elder Lawyer, if you will. Revelation 16, verse 19. Let me get it here. It was in the book of Revelation. A matter of fact, we'll start at the 17th verse, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Revelation 16, verse 17.
Okay, let me grab the Bible here so they can see it. Revelation 16, verse 17. Let's read that.
And the 7th angel poured out his vial unto the air. And there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, It is done. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon earth, so mighty an earthquake, and so great.
Look at that. Read.
And the great city was divided into 3 parts.
The great city was divided into what, Elder Lawyer?
Into 3 parts.
Into 3 parts. Into 3 parts. This is what America is bracing for. When this happens, all of those immigrants that were a part of what? That was a part of NATO that are now American citizens and have gotten what? American uniforms. they're going to be deployed throughout these areas, deployed by the government to keep the order for the cities that survives the earthquake. Okay, remember this video. During the Biden administration, at the end of it, they were letting all these military-aged men into the United States. They're not going nowhere, folks. Guess what? A sister told me she was she was responsible for sewing the names on the new uniforms, and these were all foreign names. Whether it be African, whether it be Ukrainian, whether it be Eastern European. These weird names, and she have to sew, a seamstress, sewing all these long German names, these long names on American uniforms. Okay, so what they're doing is setting a military in place that will keep order in the places they know that it will still be in existence after the earthquake. Right? And it says, and the great city was divided into 3 parts. Read.
And the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came in remembrance before God to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath.
The fierceness of his wrath. Now, when this happens, brothers and sisters, what happens? Tsunamis. Tsunamis. Right? Read.
20. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found.
And the mountains were not found. Why? Because it's tsunamis rising higher than mountains. Some of the islands we've come to understand that we use for vacation and all of that, some of those are going to be gone. Similar to, some of the hits that we've heard over in India and different places where tsunamis wiped out hundreds of thousands of people and all of that. And read 21.
21. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent.
The weight of a talent. So what is John seeing? He's seeing something coming down, hitting the earth. But yet he's using it based on what? Based on what they've witnessed in their society when it comes to how things were before this high technology. This was before missiles were made and all of this. But now he's using what? Things he can relate to show us the future. Something coming down hitting like the weight of a talent. And men what?
And men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great.
So instead of getting their lives together, even through the disasters, people are going to curse God and not return to him. Earthquakes in diverse places. Well, what's really going on? Well, let's talk about it. Let's now go to what? Now, don't forget, folks, these people know what time it is. I'm speaking of the powers that be. They're actually setting up the next infrastructure, knowing America is about to lose its power altogether. People talk about an EMT and all these other things, folks. What's going to turn out the lights is the war. That's what's going to turn out the lights in America, the war. Okay? So who's going to be there to supplement with the next world infrastructure? Okay? Let me show you. How the war in Iran has brought European countries closer together without Trump. So why is Israel urging America or Trump to continue in a war that they know America will lose? When I say lose, the loss is economically. Okay? It's not about how many people die. It's speaking of how much power, political power, and structural power you will use going into a war such as this, where the Middle East has a stranglehold on your economy and how your economy runs. So who would urge America to go against a country knowing that 20% of the oil resources to sustain the lives of Americans come from this region? It puts a chokehold on the whole economy. Who would convince Trump that this is a good idea? So people talking about Israel, 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 Israel. Folks, these are Edomites from the Vatican. You know, right? The state of Israel and AIPAC are just proxies of the Vatican. Don't forget, folks, that yarmulke is not just war. People, that yarmulke you see that they wear is not just, it's not just Jewish people wearing yarmulkes. The Pope wear a yarmulke. Okay? So understand what's going on here. And Tawada for all y'all support. Look at what's going on here. There's a lot of European Jewish people who went there in the 40s and 50s up until this time that are leaving Israel and going back to their homeland. Poland, Germany, Switzerland. They're going back. This war is bringing Europe closer together. Why? Because according to prophecy, the economic system, the world economic system, will be ran from Europe. It will be ran from Europe. So because they can't fight Americans through war, knowing that Americans are armed, this is how they take out America's power. By instigating a war with Iran that they know will totally destroy America economically. Period. Well, there'll be no other option but to go with what? Europe's plan for the world after America loses as a superpower. Yeah, it's right there in the book of Revelation that this war is uniting the 10 horns. Revelation 17, Elder.
Revelation chapter 17.
Now, some people might ask, well, hold up. What about Trump? Trump is from America. Trump is Esau. You think Trump don't have places to live outside the United States? Oh, you believe that Trump and them are building a ballroom? He could be in the White House. Or it's so that people aren't alarmed with what? The construction that's actually being built to withstand what's about to happen. So now you're not going to look twice about some construction at the White House because out there they're putting out there that it's about a ballroom for Trump. You really believe that's all going on there? Could that be a cover for them fortifying the White House to brace for what's about to happen? The construction is just a cover. They're bracing for something. Remember this Sabbath lesson. And see, I've been watching this stuff, brothers and sisters, long enough to know how they use the media to cover what they're truly doing. They did it years ago during the Nuclear Proliferation Act over there in the 60s, going into the 70s. Over there in Israel, when Israel, the state of Israel, was supposed to show forth that they had nuclear capability. They did the same thing. What do I mean by that? They didn't sign the Nuclear Proliferation Act, and they let some black Hebrews into Dimona and said, y'all can build y'all little village here. Come back to Israel, you black folk. And while they were building Dimona, it was a cover for what they were building when it comes to their nuclear capability. It's the same thing. Same thing. So they'll build something and publicize, oh, the blacks are coming back as the Hebrews into Israel and all that, knowing that when Iran, that's right, gets stirred up according to prophecy, they was going to strike Dimona. So this is where we're going to put the black Hebrews. But between the crosshairs. So how did they hide that they had nukes back then? Using what? Construction as a cover. So when they talk about, man, Trump doing the ballroom, blah, 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 I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's what you think is going on here? Huh? Now let's go back to Revelation and show people what's really going on with the 10 horns, who are Europe. Edomites, they are. We're going to call it what it is. Okay? This is what? The 10 horns is a united Edomite front to bring in Satan's economy for the world. Okay, let's call it what it is. Let's go to Revelation 17. Let's go straight to the 10 horns.
Yes, sir. Revelation chapter 17 and verse number 12.
Verse 12. Hold on, let me grab it here, Elder Lawyer. Thank you. Let's read it.
And the 10 horns are 10, which thou sawest, are 10 kings, which have received power, who have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
So here it is. You got 10 powers, the connection of Rome, the 10 horns. That's who it is. Who have received no kingdom as of yet. Why? Because Babylon took all of the shine. America took the glory from Europe. So what? A level of resentment materialize when it comes to Europe against America, especially with the fact that it was Judah, the children of slaves, that began to do what? Create the culture for the whole world to enjoy. America, through the slaves' culture, dictates the culture for the whole world. So the 10 horns is looking at it like, how did America become greater than us? We made America. How did they become greater than us? So a slow resentment began to happen, and a what? Divide between the 10 horns and America, who was created out of her. These have what?
These have one mind.
They have one mind. And guess what, folks? This is real-time prophecy we're talking about. Why they're instigating Iran. Why, even though it's what? It's a fool's errand going into this war, they are promoting and backing this and backing Israel as a proxy so that America can be used to destroy it. Understanding that this war economically will become America's toe tag. This is the weight they're putting on what? The administration, knowing that there's no coming back from this. There'll be no need for elections if Trump go into a full-fledged war against Iran. You can forget about elections. And this is what they want. The Tin Horns want this. Why do you think MAGA and all these people that was down with MAGA, let me tell you, it's a Mexican standoff. They're all going against each other right now. So there's no unity even amongst the Republicans. Guess what the Democrats have already done? They've been taken over by LGBTQ, trying to turn your children, your little boys into girls, so they're finished. And now the only moral party, for a sense on the surface, compared to the Democrats, are all fractured, fighting against one another. So America is already divided politically on every level, right? So now this emboldens what? The Tin Horns to stand up and say, if we're going to strike and take away America's power, there's no better time to do it than now. And one of the greatest mistakes that was made in the United States is when COVID happened and the majority of the people believed what they were saying and did what they were suggesting. That began to break the power where there'll be no healthy people to actually replace the current population going forward. So they had to bring in immigrants so that it can be what? So you could have the optics of a normal population when the whole demographic has been changed with the Great Replacement. So that was the first leg of it. And now we're in this Iran war is a serious leg of it now because it has weakened America. Americans have to deal with the sicknesses and all of that come with you believing what? The political lies that have been put out there targeting us. And folks, let me say this. Hence the reason why I told people, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. The Tin Horns is pulling the plug on America. Why are you listening? This is what they want. But let's go back for time's sake, because there's a lot I have to cover. Let's read it.
Revelation 17:13.
Yes.
These have one mind.
They have one mind.
And shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
And will give their power and strength to the beast. These are the Tin Horns who will do what? Roll out the mark of the beast system. It's their system. It'll be Europe in control of the whole system. Why do you think the original bank system of the Rothschilds, all that came out of Europe? All of it. So the controlling body, which is Esau's body, the Tin Horns, led by the satanic Roman Vatican, they will have the last say on economics throughout the earth, connected with Satan himself. Come on.
These shall make war with the Lamb.
Why? Because they're the ones that Christ is going to fight against. There'll be no America to fight against Christ. Well, not in the sense of what we know about America now. America's power will be broken through the war. Now, during the war is when what? Is when the governments will have the moral and the military power to confiscate weapons. Under the cloud of the war, now they have the military might to go house to house, and if people try to withstand their power, they'll take people out. Either you give up your weapons or you're declaring war against the New World Order. You can only do such tactics under serious duress of a military threat. See? Same thing. under the duress of a military threat, that's when they're going to be able to say, listen, we're not asking you. We're telling you to give up your guns. Why? Because now America has been broken. And guess what? The cities aren't being ran like they used to through your politicians and all that. Everything is going to be controlled through the White House. Right? The 10 horns are the first 10 horns. You got Switzerland, Belgium. You have France, Spain, Great Britain, Netherlands. All the usual suspects. Germany, Russia, current day Russia. They're all a part of it. Spain, Spain. All of them, those who colonize all over the earth. 3 of the 10 horns went out colonizing everything as an extension of the Vatican. Let's read it, Elder.
14.
14.
These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings.
So Christ is going to stomp the Vatican out, in a nutshell. Christ is going to destroy the 10 horns. Read.
And they that are with them are called and chosen and faithful.
And faithful. Right? And he saith unto me what?
The waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
A nation that's built out of all races of people. Read.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore.
They shall hate America. Why do they resent America? Because the slaves have risen into prominence and is dictating the culture for the earth. You would think Esau would get all the credit for the glory of the world. Huh? How can slaves, people be brought up in boats, influence the whole earth? Because we're God's people. That's why. See? You can have a little kid from Indiana broke as a joke from the children of slaves and become the greatest icon throughout the earth, like a Michael Jackson. And they looking at this like, oh, didn't these people just go into slavery? How could they have so much political influence? This is why they resent America. See? The 10 horns is like, hey, your slaves are out of control. How can now they can dictate? You can have somebody that come from Chicago that had nothing to do with fashion, like Kanye West, and then have an influence on whether or not something sells in Europe. Huh? This is why they resent America. If Esau could get the credit for culture and everything, they would let it stay intact because it's their glory. But Europe has begun to resent America because of God's people's influence. See that? So this is why they resent it. Because what they can't stop is, what they cannot destroy is what we're made of. We're made of the Most High's essence. We're the children of Israel. That's what they resent. The same God who's going to send the Christ to destroy the Vatican, Christ's blood runs through our veins. And they know it. Huh? And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, read.
And shall make her desolate.
Make her desolate.
And naked.
Naked. How do you make her naked? By destroying America's economy. By destroying her economy and ridicule America through the media now. America is a joke on all of European television. Read.
And shall eat her flesh.
Eat her flesh. We're going to take all of her economy, all of her treasury, and send her money to the Ukraine, to Israel. That's eating the flesh. That's tearing her apart and taking everything and giving it to the others. No economic floor to stand on. Take all the jobs and give it to the outsiders. Make it where all customer service is done. Make it where AI will take the jobs you used to have. And then here's the last piece.
And burn her with fire.
That's what we're seeing right now. Through the policy of instigating Israel against Iran, by proxy, the 10 horns is using Israel to destroy America with fire. By utilizing politically the Iran-Israel conflict. Huh? How long we been talking about this? Huh? Now let's go in. Let's go in. Let's go to Sirach. We're going to Sirach, which is Ecclesiasticus in your Apocrypha or Bible, brothers and sisters. We're going to Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 26 in your Old Testament. Let's see here, Wisdom of Sirach here, right here. 28, 26, and 28. Let's read that, Elder Lawyer.
Sirach 26 and 28. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty, a man of understanding that are not set by, and one that turneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepareth such an one for the sword.
The Lord prepareth such a one for the sword. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty. Now, why would that make the Most High angry? If you have the wisdom of war, why can't you use those same strategies when it comes to how you think to better your own life for your family? You can always talk about how things should be and how this should be this and this. You got the mind of a genius, but your life isn't showing that it's being applied to you. Read.
And men of understanding that are not set by.
Men of understanding that are not set by. There's nothing in their life that's showing that they have the understanding. They can talk about it, but they can't apply it to their own lives. And read.
And one that returneth from righteousness to sin.
One that was baptized, coming to the knowledge of the Almighty, and return to the same sin that they asked the Most High to cleanse them from. Read.
And the Lord prepareth such an one for the sword.
He prepareth such a one for the sword. Some people might ask, well, what does this have to do with earthquakes? Well, that sword is a place of condemnation. It's not just the death or the pain of death they suffer for the actions on earth. Because that pain of death is only an instant. They'll only feel it for an instant. The sword it's speaking of is the judgment that was made to judge souls. Hell. And guess what? You have many people out there who stick their head in the sand like ostriches and say, well, okay, well, according to my pastor, according to my teacher, hell doesn't exist. Guess what? You don't have to believe hell exists. But you will know once you leave here. See, the Most High is not in this position of power to try to convince mere man of his power. You can stick your head in the sand and say, well, because we don't believe, hell doesn't exist. I don't care what the Jehovah's Witnesses have told you, you're going to lay down and go to sleep. You know, I have people who think that, okay, I can do all the hell on earth and fulfill all my lustful desires, and the worst can happen to me is that I'm asleep. You know how many people are going to take that deal? And you know how many people who like sleep? So let's get it right. This is your Jehovah's Witness. You can be an unrepentant sinner. You can do all types of evil on the earth. You can cause ruckus, division, heresy, hatred. And the worst that can happen to you is that when you die, you get to rest. You know how many people that's going to take that God up for that deal? And I remember even Hebrews talking about, hey, hell is a condition. Hell is what happens on earth. All these weird doctrinal teachings that Lucifer is the white man and heaven and hell is a condition on the earth. What? So when the judgment comes, what's the judgment? Well, you die from the nuclear missiles. All right. So, okay, if I'm an Israelite, you die from the nuclear missiles. There is no hell now. And then you go and rest and come back in the third and fourth generation being born under Hebrews in the kingdom. Okay, so let me make this right. So if I'm an Israelite by blood, and I do all types of evil and wickedness, unrepentant, against the Most High, against Christ, against everything that's right according to Moses' law. If I die, the worst can happen to me because my genetics is that I'm reborn under an Israelite and get the kingdom anyway? Who's not going to take that deal? You see how that's nonsense when people try to deny hell exists and what type of crazy hoops they have to jump through because they don't want to accept the obvious. Hell is real. It's the true sword in judgment after death. Let's get Sirach. The 27th chapter, if you will, Elder Lawyer. And let's start at the first verse.
Yes, sir. Sirach 27, verse 1.
Let's read it.
Many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. As a nail sticketh fast between the joinings of the stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown. As when one sifteth with a sieve, and the refuse remaineth, so the filth of man in his talk. The furnace proveth the potter's vessel.
What proved the potter's vessel?
The furnace.
The furnace. Now the Most High is giving you wisdom here. You can't make the potter's vessel unless there's fire. The furnace proveth the potter's vessel. Read.
So the trial of man is in his reasoning.
So the trial of man is in his reasoning. Read.
The fruit declareth if the tree have been dressed. So is the utterance of a conceit in the heart of man. Praise no man before thou hearest him speak.
Praise no man until they open their mouths. Let them talk long enough and you'll know what they're really about. They'll never say what it's about initially, but let them talk enough and you'll be like, well, okay, I see what we're dealing with here. This person is dumb gum crazy. Okay, read.
For this is the trial of men.
This is the trial of men. Let's talk about the vengeance of the Most High. We're staying with some wisdom here. Let's go to Sirach 28 and let's read 1.
Sirach 28 verse 1. He that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord, and he will surely keep his sins in remembrance.
The people who seek vengeance will seek what? Will find vengeance from the Lord. That means people trying to get their own justice. I'll be like, I believe in the Most High. People do anything against me, say anything against me, and this is what I'm saying with y'all, folks. Don't try to retaliate. Leave space for the Most High to put his foot in it. If you try to retaliate and justify yourself, then you're telling the Most High you don't need his help in it. See how that works? See how that works? Vengeance is the Lord's. If you know you're right and the people that are going against you are evil and wrong, you don't have to say anything because you know the Most High knows it. You sit back and watch the Most High work. And in time, the Most High going to show forth his vengeance against those who have done evil. See how it works? That's how it works. He that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord. That means I'm going to do this to a person. I'm going to do that to a person. That person is in trouble. In serious trouble. Because why? The Most High is looking at it and he's saying, well, hold up. Suppose I would have done everything you're thinking about doing to another person to you, when you have done worse than that person. So, folks, what we're showing you is why the Most High created hell and why there's earthquakes showing up in the earth right now. It all ties together. It all ties together. He that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord, and he shall surely keep his sins in remembrance. Read.
Forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he have done unto thee. So shall thy sins also be forgiven when thou prayest.
Forgive thy neighbor the hurt that have done unto thee. And see, this is how you can walk light without darkness. You can say what you want and do what you want, but guess what? I forgive you. Now, if you do that, then the darkness that comes into your mind, because the more negative you think about a person, the more you seek vengeance. You seek to justify yourself against this person. So the darkness overcomes you, and that creates murderers. See how that works? But if you say, you know what? Listen, I got my life alive. As long as my body isn't harmed by a person, okay? As long as you keep your distance, I forgive you. You can say what you want. You can do what you want. But I'm not going to let the darkness on you enter me. I forgive you. Because with that now, I can go on with my duties according to the Almighty without feeling dark against any person. You, brothers and sisters, do y'all understand the power of forgiveness? When you forgive, don't forget, you think about Christ's hands being nailed to the stake and how he had to what? Forgive all, being totally innocent. And he's up there on the throne looking at you do the same thing. He's looking at it and saying, you know what? That's my son. These are my people. You know how much power that is? Where you don't have to justify yourself. And Christ is looking at you saying, now, here's an opportunity to see who's really with me. Here it is. Everything is going against this person, and this person is forgiven. Every person. Okay? And folks, believe it or not, you'll sleep like a baby. You can't even sleep when you have vengeance and darkness and looking at one person negative. It'll disturb your everyday going. There's no peace in a person like that. But if you say, you know what? Lord, you forgave me. I'm going to forgive this person regardless of what I feel about them. Guess what? Christ take it up. That's how it works. That's power. Forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he have done unto thee. Read.
So shall thy sins also be forgiven when thou prayest.
Because that's how your sins are forgiven. How can the Most High what? Fulfill or give you your prayers fulfilled? Think about that, folks. When he's forgiven you, but yet you can't forgive your brother or sister. So why should he fulfill your prayer? See? Read.
3. One man beareth hatred against another, and doth he seek pardon from the Lord?
If you hate your own brother or sister, and believe it, there's things that happen in the earth that would drive someone to feel justified hating someone. There's things that happen in the earth where people can grow resentment or a negative feeling towards a person. That's natural in life. That's regular. But one man beareth hatred against another. So do you think the Most High will seek to pardon you? Huh? If you can't pardon your brother and say, you know what, or your sister, you did this to me, but you know what? I'll pardon that. It's all good. Guess what? This action you do against your brother or sister when it comes to not forgiving a person, well, that goes to the throne. And the Most High was saying, you know what? Well, I don't have to forgive you then. Everything you do wrong, it will be shown in life, and I'm going to destroy the work of your hands until you realize I'm doing it. That's how the Most High, folks, manifest his judgment without utterly killing people. Oh, you can't forgive your brother or your sister. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, you can pray all you want. What I'll do, the Most High will do, he will destroy the work of your hands. Everything you touch goes backward. And you will find yourself in the same place over and over again, thinking that the world is against you. It's because the world isn't right. Why you can't advance, why you can't get out of your current condition, not realizing it was the Most High the whole time. Every place Jonah went, when he was called to do a work, guess what? It was chaos. That was the Most High destroying the work of his hands. Now, you can't escape. Anywhere you go is going to leave you back to square one. That's what happens when you can't forgive. When you don't have the Spirit of Christ. Most High is like, okay. Oh, you can't forgive. You run around thinking that you are a victim. You run around thinking that you're the righteous and the whole world, everybody's wrong except you. Okay. That's how it works, folks. One man beareth hatred against another. Read.
And doth he seek pardon from the Lord?
So you think you're justified in Christ? You think the Lord is going to forgive you? Well, because of this or because of that, so what? How can you expect Christ to forgive you? Read.
4. He showeth no mercy to a man which is like himself, and doth he ask forgiveness of his own sins?
He showeth no mercy that's no different than a man like himself. You have a man or woman that's just as worse as the person they hate, who is just like them. And do he ask forgiveness of sins, of his own sins? That means what? You ask for forgiveness for your sins, but you hate a person for doing the same sins you're asking the Most High to forgive you for. Insanity. Insanity is what it is. 5.
If he that is but flesh nourish hatred.
If you nourish hatred, that means you live in hatred. Your existence is hatred. When you speak, all you can talk about or think about is the hate and vitriol you have against a person. But you're not going to come like that. You're going to always come with, well, you know, it's just a concern. I'm just trying to see it this way. You're going to come in a way where it seems as if it's innocent. But it's hatred in your heart. I'm confused. I'm just trying to figure this out. But have an ill satanic intent. If he that is but flesh nourisheth hatred, that means everything that comes from them, anytime you hear them, it's hatred against an individual. Like, get a life. Right? And it says what? Who will what?
Who will entreat for pardon of his sins?
Who will entreat for the pardon of this person's sins? Who's going to be there to support a person when they do something wrong, when all they can do is talk about the wrong of others? The Most High is not going to pardon it. Huh? The Most High is not going to pardon. 6.
Remember thy end.
Remember that we all have to see the Most High at the end of this. Think about that. So no matter what you're dealing with in the moment, you have to see, and I have to see the Most High alone at the end of it. Remember thy end. Read.
And let enmity cease.
Let what?
Let enmity cease.
Don't let enmity, the devil, take you. This is how the heavens were divided. This is how the angels fell. Remember
Remember corruption and death.
Remember corruption and death. Read.
And abide in the commandments.
And abide in the commandments. How does this connect to earthquakes? How does this connect to hell? I'm going to show you. Brothers and sisters, what we see in the earth experiencing, folks, what we're seeing the earth experiencing right now. Let me pull it up. The earth is cracking. What we're seeing, what we're witnessing is a physical manifestation of what's going on in the people on earth. A divide, heresy, destruction. Everything we're witnessing, what we just seeing something just opening up and think it has nothing to do with our interactions with one another. The earth responds to her children. It's all connected. Remember the commandments.
Remember the commandments and hear no malice and bear no malice.
28 and 7. Remember the commandments and what?
And bear no malice.
And bear no malice. You can tell when a person has a demon of malice in them. There is no rest. They become obsessed. Remember the commandments. And guess what? What commandments? Love thy neighbor as I love thyself. And Christ says, with that fulfill all the laws and the prophets. Forgive as you hope that I will forgive you in heaven. Forgive your brother or sister their trespasses as I forgive those who trespass. What? You're forgiven based on how you forgive the trespasses that are done against you. Remember the commandments. Read.
And bear no malice to thy neighbor.
And bear no malice against your neighbor. Remember
the covenant of the highest.
Remember the covenant of the Most High.
And wink at ignorance.
And wink at ignorance. There's a lot of things the Most High could judge us for, but he wink in our ignorance. He said, you know what? I know it's in this person who can overcome this negative that's in them. That one day they'll become a better person through time. That's the patience the Most High have with us that we refuse to have with one another. Where we can be obsessed with just some negative. Even if it happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we'll still be obsessed as if it happened today. Instead of saying, you know what? Maybe the person is a better person than they were 10 years ago. Maybe if this happened with this person 5 or 10 years ago, maybe they learn from that and they're better and they can make amends, not just with the Most High, but with you too. But we want to hold a man to our view of a man. That a man or a woman can never overcome their past transgressions. And guess what? That's evil as Hades. That's evil as Hades. And this is why Hades was created. For people who think they can talk about someone else's indiscretions or negative when they're even worse than the people that they're talking about. Remember the commandments and bear no malice to thy neighbor. Remember the covenant of the Most High. And what?
And wink at ignorance.
And wink at ignorance. Abstain from what?
Abstain from strife.
Abstain from strife. Don't let nobody try to call you or bring you into their darkness or strife. Read.
And thou shalt diminish thy sins.
Because if you what? If you abstain from strife, then guess what? That begin to diminish your sins. A lot of people don't know, folks, operating in the spirit of strife and anger and dissension and division without peace. That's sin with the Most High. That's like what? A swine sandwich. Because what? It was all of that strife and anguish and all of the sins that were in the mind of men that led to Christ getting murdered. Abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins. For what?
For a furious man will kindle strife.
For a furious man will kindle strife. What do that mean? When you're kindling strife, folks, you're throwing gasoline on it. Okay, this is something else. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Let's see what else I can create to cause some strife and anger and dissension amongst people. That's an evil, wicked person, where they'll find people to kindle strife. Who else I can find? Who else I can talk to that can feel as dark as I am? How can I keep this fire going while life is just passing by, regardless of it? Life is just going on. Abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins. For a furious man will kindle strife. They're not satisfied until there's another story, another this or another that. They're looking for it. Because if they don't have the strife, they have to look at themselves and say, you know what? It's me. If I don't have no one else to confirm the darkness in me, it must be me. And it goes into that. Read the 9th verse.
A sinful man disquieteth friends.
A sinful man disquieteth friends. See? So eventually, people with that dark spirit in them will end up with no friends, and no one around them, even their own family, will begin to do what? Detest them. Because there's no peace in them. It's nothing but strife. There's not a place where people can rest and say, you know what? I have peace in my home. I have peace around this person. And eventually they'll run everyone away from them. And check it out. Not realizing they're being separated by a spirit that's going to drag them into the place of torment. And maketh what?
And maketh debate among them that be at peace.
And maketh debate among them that be at peace. It's all peace. But they want to always come with a contrary what? Perspective. Or even doctrine. And say, well, look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that. And people are peaceful. Like, no, we cool believing what we believe. We're straight with what the Most High given us. It brings people together. It's baptism. It's bringing souls to Christ. We're okay with what we believe. As the matter of the fire is, read.
So it burneth.
And this is where it goes into the earthquakes. And this is where it goes into hell. And I'm going to show you, folks. Because if you let a fire burn in you, it leads one to the fire that's waiting. So what's in a person is connected to the earth. So you want to keep a fire burning. So I guess you want fire. And guess what? We're going to show you what that fire is connected with the earthquake. In a second. In a second. In a second. 1 second. We'll be right back with part 2. All right, brothers and sisters, let's go in. Let's go in. Let's go straight to it. Check 1, 2. Okay, we good. All right. All right, let's start here. All right, brothers and sisters, jumping right in part 2. We're going into how hell has enlarged itself and hell has been released on earth. What we're witnessing with all these anomalous behaviors where there's division on every side, it's because, like I mentioned earlier, the earth is messaging to the people that what's going on with the people, the divide, the sin, and all of that is manifesting itself physically. For those who missed it, who have just come in, a huge crack in the ground in Africa could split the continent in two. What is this? Have this happened before? Keep in mind that the earth was at one time one continent. So let's talk about this. Let's now go to Isaiah 5, verse 14.
Yes, sir. The book of Isaiah 5 and 14.
Yes, sir.
Therefore hell have enlarged herself.
Therefore, matter of fact, let's go to the 13th verse first.
13. Therefore my people are gone into captivity.
Therefore, God's people Israel has gone into captivity. Why?
Because they have no knowledge.
Because they have no knowledge. Israelites lost the knowledge of their past, the history of the laws that God gave us at Mount Sinai under Moses, the history of our connection with Christ and the disciples before the fall of Jerusalem. That's the knowledge we lack, the knowledge contained in the Bible. Read.
And their honorable men are famished.
The people we're looking up to fill in the blanks, to give us the understanding, well, they're famished. That's like asking what? A starving person to give you knowledge on how to eat. Or where to get food. The people we seek to who think that for answers, they're famished. Read.
And their multitude dried up with thirst.
And their multitude, the majority of the people who are following these so-called preachers and teachers, are dried up with thirst. Therefore
hell have enlarged herself.
Hell hath enlarged herself. Hell is what? Hell is overpopulated due to what? Sin. We going into the captivity because we have no knowledge. Well, with no knowledge of the law, the earth is overran with sinners. Hell, the place of condemnation, wasn't originally made for man or woman to go or to eventually be there. It wasn't meant. We weren't supposed to go there. It wasn't for us. It was for the celestials, the fallen ones. The Most High made a place to contain them. Hell has enlarged itself because we let the fallen ones convince us to go against our God and to sin against our God. So now hell has expanded. And through that expansion, what? That's right. Through that expansion, earth is breaking. Earth is breaking through hell's expansion. Therefore,
hell have enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure.
Without measure, read.
And their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
There you go. Those people who will descend in it. Right? And open their mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth in this world doing wickedness shall descend into it. Now let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about this hell for a second, because what we're witnessing right here, it happened before. So let's go into the spirit or the prototype of the people that hell is waiting for. Here's the profile. Let's now go. It happened before. Everything you see here happened before, where the earth opened. Let's now go to the book of Numbers, the 16th chapter. The 16th chapter, and let's start at the 25th verse.
Numbers 16 and 25.
Yes, sir.
And Moses rose up and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him.
And the elders of Israel followed him. So this is what? A rebellion, a division, where there was people who was once amongst Moses is now doing what? Seeking to cause a divide or mutiny against the people whom the Most High chose. 26.
And he spake unto the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men.
Depart from the tents of these wicked men. Leave them alone. Moses was telling them, the Most High have a judgment for these people. Read.
And touch nothing of theirs.
Don't touch nothing of theirs. Don't deal with their presence. Don't hear them. Don't see them. Separate from them. Read.
Lest ye be consumed in all their sins.
Read, because the people had nothing to do with it. Okay? Think about that. What Korah and Dathan and what these guys were doing, folks, that was their problem that they had with Moses. He was telling the people, hey, don't deal with these people. You don't have nothing to do with what these guys are doing and trying to destroy. Leave them alone. They're very dangerous. So at least what did Moses do? He had grace enough to do what? To warn the people. Like, yo, these guys had already went left. They've already went left. There's no recovering them. You better separate from them. '27.
So they gathered from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan and Abiram on every side, and Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives and their sons and their little children.
Read.
And Moses said, Hereby ye shall know that the Lord hath sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own mind.
Read.
If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord have not sent me. But if the Lord make a new thing,
If he make a new thing. Read.
and the earth open her mouth,
And the earth does what?
and the earth open her mouth,
And the earth opened her mouth. So understand, when these earthquakes and the ground start swelling and opening, these are commands from the Most High himself. These are signs. These are signs. But if the Lord make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up, read,
with all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord.
you will see that these men provoked the Most High. These are they who all they know in their heart to do is to divide, not connect with the Most High, not lead, not seek a unified front with the Most High to make it through. Okay? In their whole mind, they're driven just to divide, when really they have no power, no inclination, or the mind to lead. "31.
And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them. And the earth opened her mouth, and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertain unto Korah, and all their goods. They and all that appertain to them went down alive into the pit."
Went down alive in the pit. A one-way ticket to hell itself. No burials, no funerals, no memorials. They went straight to hell. Read. And the earth what?
And the earth closed upon them,
And the earth closed up. Read.
and they perished from among the congregation.
And they perished amongst the congregation. Now, why did the Most High do this? Because it happened in the heavens before the earth was made. There was a divide. Lucifer convinced 1/3 of the angels to go against the Almighty. You know what a demon is, because it's the children of those same angels. A demon seeks to divide. Someone with an inclination to lead and to do a work in of their self does that. They don't sit there and think in their mind how to divide something they had no hand in bringing forth. See? So the same thing with Dothan, the same thing with Korah. They sat there and seen Moses and said, well, even though they weren't chosen, and they looked at it and say, hey, why don't we divide the people? And the reason why they was in that particular posture, because they don't have the mind to go work and lead their own people that the Most High would entrust under them. This is what hell was made for. You can tell those who are in the spirit of the fallen ones, because they don't look to do their own work. They look to destroy from within, because they don't have no mind of how to actual do the work that leads to unity. Think about this, folks. The heavens is unified. And with that, the Most High, through a word, through total order, made the heavens and the earth. Think about that. So he understands the beginning of it all because he started it all. But then you have Lucifer, a Johnny-come-lately, a product of the work, who will look at it and say, guess what? I can't do what the Most High did, Lucifer, but what I can do is convince the angels to go a separate way. Hell is prepared for individuals like that. Let's go there. Let's go there now. Let's go now. A matter of fact, let's go to the book of Enoch. So hell is a place. A matter of fact, let's go to the desert Dudiel. Straight there first.
The book of Enoch, chapter 10 and 1.
So the fallen angels came into the earth. 200 of them during the time of Jared, where Enoch was taken up into the heavens, brothers and sisters, because he would be the one utilized by the Most High to judge the disobedience. Right? So in Genesis 6, where it says the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair and laying with them. These were actual angels, folks, that began the disobedience in the earth, and they produced bastards. See? They produced bastards. Titans. Now, through this, eventually these spirits would have what? No place, because the Most High didn't think of them in the original creation. These are hybrids. So the Most High said, well, listen, I don't got no place for you. You can just float around the earth, being this hybrid product, and become evil spirits, and Christ will judge you all later. That's right, and send you directly to hell in the judgment. So hell was a place prepared originally for the fallen angels. People weren't supposed to go there. People weren't supposed to go into hell. Think about this, folks. If Adam and Eve would not have eaten the tree of good and evil, they would have partaken of the tree of life and lived forever. So that was what? That was the creation for man that was intended to live forever under a righteous God. For water, Alex. Let's go there real quick. Let's go there. We're here at the book of Enoch, the 10th chapter. Read it.
Enoch 10 and 1. Then said the Most High, the Holy and Great One, spake, and sent Uriel to the son of Lamech, and said to him, Go to Noah, and tell him, in my name, hide thyself, and reveal to him the end that is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed, and a deluge is about to come upon the whole earth, which will destroy all that is on it. And now instruct him that he may escape, and his seed may be preserved for all generations of the world. And again the Lord said to Raphael, Bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert which is in Dudiel, and cast him therein, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness.
And cover him with darkness, folks. This is where you get your pyramids from. These were the monuments that were built by the angels to hold the fallen ones. Read.
And let him abide there forever, and cover his face, that he may not see light.
Read.
And on the day of the great judgment, he shall be cast into the fire.
And on the day of the great judgment, he will be cast into the fire. So obviously, hell initially was made for the original sons of God from the heavens, the disobedient ones who began to teach mankind disobedience, to go against the laws. See, they were disobedient up there, so they would find the children of Cain to teach the disobedience down here. So the Most High had a place for them. Hell. Hell. Whether people believe it's real or not, hey, I guess what? We will all know eventually. I would rather understand it's real so that I can understand, according to the word, how to avoid it. Okay, I'd rather know that it exists. Because, folks, a spirit that the Most High creates is forever. Whether it was with him in the beginning, sent into our mother and father to live here, and or after this, it's the spirit that feels, not the body. It's the spirit that's connected to our nerves. Understand that. Hey, when you get an opportunity, if your stomach can bear it. If you ever go to a morgue or something, they're cutting that body up and doing all types of stuff. And that body isn't reacting, saying, ouch, ooh, what's going on here? Why? There's no spirit. So it's the spirit that felt the pain. See? So all of that feeling goes with the spirit someplace else. Huh? So Azazel and the fallen angels were bound in hell. Hell exists. But then there's another thing, if you will, Elder Lawyer. Now let's go to the 15th chapter to show you the children that came out of the fallen angels. Let's go straight to it, where it says, and now the giants who were produced from these fallen angels.
Yes, sir. The book of Enoch, chapter 15.
Let's start at 8.
And verse 8. And now the giants who are produced from the spirits and flesh shall be called evil spirits upon the earth.
Shall become evil spirits on the earth. So once the titans or the giants die, their spirits roam the earth, seeking people to inhabit. Seeking people to inhabit. Now, how do you know if you're dealing with a possessed person? You know you're dealing with a possessed person when they're doing all the actions of the fallen ones. Division, cannot forgive, always causing situations, never satisfied. There's no peace with this person. That's how you know you're dealing with a possessed person. Okay, some of these people that have demons or possessions, some are functional, that they can operate in regular society, but still know that there's something wrong with them. Okay? Or you can have people that's always to the other side. They're diagnosed bipolar, they're on medication, they snap out and go crazy in the house where the parents and others in their family cannot bear having them because they're dealing with they're talking to the invisible. So these are they who are normally institutionalized. Okay? But there are functional, calculated people who have demon possession, who they'll talk to you and call you and all that, and they'll try to claim, well, I'm just calling you for this. But in their heart is to plant something evil and wicked into a person. That's a functional person that's possessed by a demon. See? That's a functional demon-possessed person. Shall be called evil spirits upon the earth. Read.
And on the earth shall be their dwelling.
And on the earth shall be their dwelling. Let's see what these people do, or the spirits do, or manifest in that person that are demon possessed. Read.
Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men, and from the holy watchers is their beginning and primal origin.
Read.
They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits shall they be called. As for the spirits of heaven, and heaven shall be their dwelling. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born upon the earth, on the earth shall be their dwelling.
They what?
And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth, and cause trouble.
And cause trouble, folks. Hold up. I have it on the wrong thing. As the evil spirits in heaven shall be their dwelling. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born upon the earth, on the earth shall be their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants do what?
Afflict,
oppress, so they're never satisfied. They look to keep that dark spirit and put it on other people. Read.
Destroy,
because they don't have no idea how to build anything. Read.
Attack,
and attack, and try to justify it as a victim when no one did anything to them. And see, and that's what we have to understand. Demon-possessed people front themselves before others as victims so that it's unassuming. So that you're thinking, oh, you poor thing, who did what to you? And they're sitting there laughing under breath and saying, here's another soul I'm about to destroy. Oppress, destroy, attack, read,
do battle,
and that's all they can do. They're not satisfied unless there's a battle or some type of fire stoked to garner some attention, because no one would pay attention to them otherwise. See? Read.
And work destruction on the earth.
That's how you know there's a demon. And folks, let me tell you, because of these scriptures and because of life and because I understand the rules according to Christ, I've always understood when I was up against a demon. Because they'll try to come in different ways. Hey, how you doing, elder? How you feeling? What's going on? Just want to check up on you. Yeah, what's going on? And then in the conversation, it's some negative, crazy stuff. And then I say, you know what? Guess how I solve myself from that? Don't ever call me again with this. There's a structure in place. You get up under that structure. And when they can no longer come with the, hey, how you doing? Or try to flatter you, the next time you speak to them, the demon will come out that was in them the whole time. I want your life. We're gonna destroy you. Stop already. See? And then that's when you say, okay, I told you. See? So they'll come, oh, I was a victim. Oh, things ain't right. Oh, this is to make you believe that something is going on that doesn't exist. But when they can no longer use that posture, then the demon is shown all the way that they were hiding. See? That's how it works, folks. So my thing is, hey, I don't play around with demons. Either you get right with Christ or I'm not associated with you. That's it. Okay, and they seek out people to destroy. Oh yeah, have you heard the gathering of Christ Church? And even though this person have been totally filled with the word, I'm speaking of the people they'll try to get to. Have you heard the gathering of Christ Church? Huh? Oh yeah. So you know, they're cool and all of that. They're good people, but you know, they are a blessing. See? They'll come with all of the flattery and say, but there's a few things you probably need to understand. I'm going to give you the real tea on what's going on. Had no hand in showing this person the light in a direction that they should be going in according to the Almighty. That's how you know you're dealing with demon possession. See? That's a demon possession. Now, let's go here. So they attack, they do battle, and work destruction in the earth. Read.
And cause trouble.
And cause trouble. Read.
They take no food, but nevertheless hunger and thirst, and cause offenses.
And cause offenses. See? And see, and this is why it says some spirits cannot come out unless it be through fasting and prayer. Right? This is spiritual warfare here. And these spirits shall what?
And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men and women, and against the women, because they are proceeded from them.
Because they are proceeded from them. At the end, there's no satisfaction with these spirits. There's no satisfaction unless what? Unless someone dies. And there's still no satisfaction. After the person dies, it'll float around these spirits to find another person. Now let's talk about this place called hell that people claim doesn't exist. Right? Elder Lawyer, if you will. Let's go to 1 Peter's. A matter of fact, let's go to Matthew 12, verse 40. Matthew 12, verse 40.
Say Matthew 12 and 40.
A matter of fact, let's start at 38.
38. Then certain men of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given it but the sign of the prophet Jonas.
But the sign of the prophet Jonas. Everyone is seeking a sign. But it says, no sign shall be given to this people. Thawada, who's that? LaSalle Upton, thank you. There shall no sign be given to you but the sign of the prophet Jonas. What is this sign? Read.
For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The sign is Christ going into hell, that place for judgment, and appearing on earth 3 days later. So hell was made for judgment. So the judge would have to visit there between realms after death. See that? So of course, his spirit would have to go into a place of holding like any person who dies. And I'm speaking of Christ. But the difference between Christ and us, hell could not hold him. Sad, right? So he went through the regular process where his spirit goes exactly. I'm going to show you in a moment how it happens. Christ went through the same process. He went directly into hell and stayed only 3 days and 3 nights, and then appeared before all of us, showing that he had the power over it. He didn't even have to go through the 7-day journey that that anyone who die on earth must go through. He didn't have to go through that journey. He went straight down there for a purpose. Now remember, because of these particular spirits, the Most High had a great earthquake and broke the earth into continents. Just remember that. And now that sin arise in our current time, there's seismic activity everywhere that's going to even break the continents into fragments. As in the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Right? So the sign, it says that the sign would be the sign of Jonah. Right? 3 days and 3 complete nights in the heart of the earth. So where did he go? Did he just fall asleep and come back 3 days later? If hell is a condition, what condition was Christ in during the 3 days and 3 nights? What was he doing there? Let's go to 1 Peter 3. Thawada Tyra, bless you. Tyre, thank you. Tiara, thank you. Let's now go to 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. 1 Peter 3, and let's go directly to the 17th verse.
Yes, sir. 1 Peter 3 and 17. For it is better, if the will of God be so, that ye suffer for well-doing than for evil-doing.
That we suffer, that we what? We suffer things against us for well-doing. It's better that if you're doing right and people are still coming at you and you're suffering it, it's better that way than the other way. 18.
For Christ also have once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit.
Read.
By which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison.
He went and preached to the spirits in prison. Now we know what Christ was doing during those 3 days and 3 nights. See that? Now we understand what he was doing there, knowing the history pre-flood. Now, mind you, the fallen angels are bound there. Those that didn't listen to Noah were bound there. By which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison, that's hell. Thawada, Tira, and Maurice, bless you. Which sometime, read.
Which sometime were disobedient, when once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah.
He's going way back to the beginning. While
the ark was a preparing, wherein few, that is 8 souls, were saved by water.
8 souls were saved by water. So now we understand that Christ was doing something in that realm called hell. But obviously it's a prison for the disobedient fallen ones and who? The people who followed the fallen angels. It becomes a prison for them where they're bound. Hold on. Where they're bound. So let's talk about it now. So Christ wasn't just down there, just 3 days, 3 nights, and just relaxing. He was telling the disobedient that he now have power over the realm and will judge in the resurrection. He was letting the fallen angels know Satan have no power in this realm anymore. I'm the boss. Christ was telling the fallen angels, that's right. Because Satan's plan was to release them to rule in the earth with him. That was Satan's plan. And believe it or not, that's the Luciferian plan under the Luciferian Bible. To release these spirits that were bound before the flood to reign over humanity and go into the cosmos. That's their plan. The Antichrist plan is to release these souls, their Messiah, and the gods that are bound to rule over the earth to stop Israel, God's people, from getting our chance with the promise. See that? So it tells you about the spirits that were released through the river Euphrates that gave mankind the idea of being able to do these shots and all these things to get rid of a population of people. All of that comes with these same spirits that were bound. 90% of them were released. I'm speaking of the Nephilim spirits, or the demons that were held after Noah's Ark after Noah's Ark rested on Mount Ararat. So we know that Christ would judge this place, the same place. Let's get Luke 16 real quick. Luke 16.
The book of St. Luke 16, verse number 19.
Hold on, let me grab it here. Luke 16, verse 19. Let's read it.
It was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom.
So how can this just be a metaphor? Now they say this is the parable. Well, these are actual angels with a function. To carry who? To carry Lazarus into Abraham's bosom. So there's a place to hold the righteous. So you have people who would try to twist this and say, well, this is just metaphoric or parabolic, and he's just making an example of an earth situation. This is the white man who was bad against the black man or Israelites, and just some foolishness. Okay? No, accept what it's saying. There's a place where the angels takes the righteous after death, called the bosom of Abraham. Is that okay to believe this literally? Let's see what happened to the rich man. The rich man also died and was buried. So Christ is showing us someone died. There's a funeral here. He's buried. And then what happens?
23. And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torment.
So you can see after death. So all your senses are alive because it's the spirit that lives, not the body. The body is the shell for the spirit. See how that works? In hell, he lift up his eyes, read.
Being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom.
So it says he seeth Abraham afar off. So the rich man is on a different side, but in the same realm to hold souls. So they can see paradise. They can see all the righteousness that comes with paradise from the place of torment. And he see Lazarus chilling, relaxed, right? 24.
And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame.
What flame? The rich man is on the side where the fallen angels abound, where Azazel and the angels abound. And the angels that are bound and the spirits that are around them are tormenting those that are with or amongst them day and night. So now they're thirsty, all of that, hungry, just looking sad. But Abraham said what?
Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things.
Remember when you had no what? No mercy, no charity. See? So he says, listen, you knew the person was suffering and you had something and you couldn't help him. But now, read.
But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented.
But now, guess what? Lazarus is doing okay. But what good would your money do now? Will your money do you now? 26.
And beside all this between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from thence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence.
He says, even if we wanted to help you, we can't, because there's a great gulf between us, and it's fire. It's like lava. Folks, when you see volcanoes erupt, that's hell enlarging itself. What you're witnessing is what came directly from hell. Then he said,
I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment.
He says, hey, I got 5 brothers. At least go speak to them, because they think this on the same line we do. I do. They believe there is no God. They believe that they can do whatever they want without consequences. He says, at least tell my brothers not to come here. Read.
Abraham said unto him, they have Moses and the prophets.
They have what?
They have Moses and the prophets.
They have the Old Testament there. In the Old Testament also is what? Christ's path in ministry. Christ did not teach his ministry using the New Testament. There was no need for it. He had to fulfill what was written in it, including the ministry given to the disciples. He says they have the Old Testament with them. Moses is the first 5 books, and the rest of it are the prophets. He said they got the book. They have the scrolls.
And he said,
Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent.
he said, hold up. If someone came from the dead, they will surely do what's right and say, hey, it's smoking down there. 31.
And he said unto him, if they hear not Moses and the prophets,
If they don't hear the Bible, read.
neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead.
Christ rose from the dead. Do you think, are the people listening right now? Christ rose from the dead. It's proof. In the annals of Rome, they talk about this man who rose from the dead. It's history, and people still wax worse. Some people, even though they don't realize no one is fit for hell, folks, but some people will have no choice based on their actions to go there. There's no in-between place after death. There's no lukewarm place that you can chill in the cool because the Most High couldn't make a choice. Either we're fit for the bosom of Abraham or hell. And I showed y'all some examples of those who will eventually go into eternal darkness because they're dark. Those that divide, those that sow discord, those that are not satisfied unless there's some dissension or some type of negative rhetoric. Guess what? The darkness is pulling them because that's what's in them. Don't forget, folks, Lucifer was a shining light in the heavens. The angels were celestial, but the darkness in them pulled them into the darkness where they're bound. Speaking of that, this sister sent me a new book because my book was tore down from the floor down. Thank you. Here you go. Mm-hmm. The Annotated Apocrypha. Right? Now, what's deep about the Annotated Apocrypha? There's an Oxford one, and there's a Cambridge one. But what's deep about this Apocrypha, not the fact that it's written in English. I mean, it's not the old Quaker English. It's more so the updated English. It actually have the 70 scriptures that the Most High told Esdras to hide. Let's get it real quick. The 70. Let's read about that, Elder. In 2nd Esdras.
Second Esdras chapter 14 and verse number 42.
14, verse 42.
The highest gave understanding unto the 5 men, and they wrote the wonderful visions of the night that were told, which they knew not. And they sat 40 days, and they wrote in the day, and at night they ate bread. As for me, I spake in the day, and I held not my tongue by night. In 40 days they wrote 204 books. And it came to pass, when the 40 days were fulfilled, that the highest spake, saying, the first that thou hast written, publish openly.
He says the first record you have, you can publish this openly. These are the records we see in the Apocrypha that was in the original Bible. Read.
That the worthy and unworthy may read it.
Whether people believe in it or not, they'll have it accessed through their libraries. They'll be able to see it. Read.
But the 70 last.
But the 70 you keep last. Read.
That thou mayest deliver them only to such as be wise among the people.
The 70 will be delivered those who what? As be wise among the people. What 70? They found the 70 that the Most High told Esdras to hide. And guess what it is, folks? It's exactly what happens once the soul leaves the body after death. So if Cambridge University has this, and Oxford University has this, there's no question. They know for sure exactly what happens after death, folks, but refuse to tell the people, because if the people knew that hell exists, many would repent. Many would change. So we're going to read real quick. Let me pull it up for everyone. Exactly the 70 that was hidden for you all today. I'm going to read it. What did I do? I took a picture of it. Second Esdras, the 7th chapter, as you all can see. See if I can blow it up more. There it is. I took a picture out of the actual book. And we're going to go straight to the 70th verse. Now, folks, in the regular Apocrypha, it stops. This is where it picks up at having the 70 that were hidden, that the Most High said that he would give to the wise of the people who would actually appreciate hidden information that's needed by all people in the world, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of nation, because death comes to all. Death comes to all. Everybody on earth should actually realize what happens after this. He answered me and said, what? Here's the 70 that was hidden, folks.
When the Most High made the world and Adam, and all who have come from him, he first prepared the judgment and the things that pertain to judgment.
The first thing he did before he made Adam was make a place for condemnation. Hell was created. When the Most High sparked the center of the earth with fire to hold the celestial who disobeyed him, he needed a place that can hold them as a prison, knowing their power. See? So he created hell first. Read.
But now understand from your own words, for you have said that the mind grows with us. For this reason, therefore, those who live on the earth shall be tormented, because though they had understanding, they committed iniquity. And though they received the commandments, they did not keep them. And though they obtained the law, they dealt unfaithfully with what they received. Wait, what then? Will they have to say in the judgment, or how will they answer in the last times?
How will they answer in the last times? They knew better. They knew better, but decided to be what? You got it. Against the Most High, against the work, against what they knew was right. Time and chance happen to all men, folks. It really comes down to what one does with it. All the rich knowledge and understanding and truth the Most High give, opening up our eyes. It's what we do with it. Read.
How long has the Most High been patient with those who inhabit the world?
How long have he been patient with us? Read.
And not for their sake, but because of the times that he has foreordained. I answered and said, if I have found favor in your sight, O Lord, Show this also to your servant, whether after death, as soon as every one of us yields up the soul, we shall be kept in rest until those times come when you will renew the creation, or whether we shall be tormented at once.
So Ezra is asking him about the judgment. These are the 70 that were hidden. So what are you going to do with us after this? Does it happen all at once? Read.
76.
Hold on, let me get it here so they can see it also. Hold on. We at verse 76 here. Hold on.
All right.
Let me minimize it right there. There you go. Read on.
He answered me and said,
76 here.
He answered me and said, I will show you that also. But do not include yourself with those who have shown scorn, or number yourself among those who are tormented. For you have a treasure of works stored up with the Most High, but it will not be shown to you until the last time.
Look at that. He said, I'm going to show you. But don't include yourself in those who have shown scorn, because you have already worked to have a reward that's separate from those who will get judged. Now, imagine that getting what? An assurance from the Most High while you're living that you're okay, that you've done enough works where he's satisfied to make sure you'll be protected even after death. Imagine that. But do not include yourself with those who have shown scorn, with the malcontents, or number yourself amongst those who will be tormented. So obviously the Most High is doing what? The Most High is easing Ezra concern, bracing him for what he's about to understand. So outright, it must be something very heinous on the other side if you have to assure Ezra not to worry. Next verse.
78. Now concerning death, the teaching is,
Here's the teaching on death.
when the decisive decree has gone out from the Most High that a person shall die, as the spirit leaves the body to return again to him who gave it, first of all, it adores the glory of the Most High.
First of all, it see that light. That's number one. Even non-believers have passed. And the first thing they seen was that light and come back. And then the first thing they do when they wake up is run to Barnes and Nobles or go on Amazon and buy themselves a Bible. Totally ignoring the Bible at first. But the Most High gave them a shot, bringing them back. The example is with Brother Azariah, who produced that logo or that introduction for the news. I'll never switch that up. He did all that before there was any such thing as AI just giving you stuff. I'll never change our news introduction. I'll always thank that brother and always bring forth his name as a testimony for Saint. I'll never forget this. We come into the country, we get a call where they telling us that Azariah have 2 hours to live. We land, I think it was in Mississippi at the time. get in a car. Listen to this, folks. Get in the car. I'm on my way. A brother pick us up, an Uber from the airport. You can't make this up. I've been teaching overseas for years. A brother pick us up from the airport on Uber. And the next thing you know, I'm sitting there with the Bible and I'm just doing normal conversation. And the guy pulls over the car who picked us up from the Uber to take us to the hospital. I said, they said he only lived 2 hours, but I'm there to pray. I'm going to pray for the brother, whatever the case is. And the guy driving, lawyer, and he's looking at me. And he pulls the car over. He pulls the car over and parked and looked right at me and said, "Are you Elder Ricashiar?" He said, "Are you Elder Ricashiar?" I'm like, "Bless him, brother. How are you?" "An Uber driver. I'm on my way to see Azariah." He cannot believe it that out of all the people today, and he wasn't even going to come to drive Uber, he's in the car with Elder Ricashiar that he'd been hearing from overseas. So he pressed the pedal to the metal and got me to the hospital. I go upstairs. The family, all of the family has already convinced themselves it's okay for Azariah to go. They prepared themselves to sign papers that would have what? The doctors put him on morphine to make him comfortable. They told me he only had 2 hours. I looked the family right in the eye and I said, the brother that was there, it's okay. I'll handle this. Because the psychologists of the hospital, they already convinced the family to allow them to give them the medication and to euthanize him. And that's what it is. I said, don't worry, I got this. And I spoke directly to the nurses and doctors. I said, hey, what's with these machines? What is this for? What is that for? And I asked, is there any morphine there? And they said, well, yeah, we need this for the pain. And I responded back with, what pain? If he's going to die anyway in 2 hours, who cares about the pain? I'm going to need you all to wake him up. The family look at me. The doctors are looking at me. And they're talking to each other in the hallway. They go into the hallway and ask, who is this guy? And I told the family, I said, listen, if you want your brother to live, you're going to have to follow my lead. The doctors come back in and says, listen, we have taken a lot of stuff out of him. He can't survive this. I'm like, again, the family said, take the morphine off. Boom. No sooner as they took the stuff off, a couple of minutes, guess who eyes open with a smile? Azariah. Listen to this. He looks right at me and he says, Elder, listen to this. Elder, what you're saying is right. What you were teaching is correct. It's all correct. I was standing there with the light right there and I was asking to go back. I was asking, I wanted to talk to you. This is what he was. The light was there, and he's standing right there, waiting to go back. And there's an angel there, and he's asking, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to Ricard. He knew I was there. I've talked about this before, brothers and sisters, but not this detailed. He knew I was on the other side. He wakes up. We anoint him. He's sitting there smiling. He's talking with me. He's eating beef ribs that night. And he lived about 6 months past the time they said for him that he'll only be there. He'll only live 2 hours. He lived 6 months. He had time to get his family together, say his goodbyes. He had time to do all of that. And before he passed, he says, Elder, I would like to come on a broadcast to tell everyone that what y'all been teaching is real because I came from there. Look at that. I may call his brother and bring his brother on again to remind you all. The thing that shocked me is the fact that he knew I was in the room, but living on the other side. He was on the other side, fully conscious. Fully conscious. Now here's another thing that came with it. Even though he could not walk or anything on the physical side, it wasn't like that on the spiritual side. He was standing next to a spirit next to him. He was standing up. He was standing, his body intact and everything, on the other side. Let's go to that light.
Yes, sir. Verse number 79.
Verse number 79. We're going to do this for the sake of time. 79 here. 78.
Yep, 78 is for the light.
Now concerning death.
Now concerning death, the teaching is, when the decisive decree has gone out from the Most High that a person shall die, as the spirit leaves the body to return again to him who gave it, first of all, it adores the glory of the Most High.
It adores that light. They showed that on the movie Ghost, even though that was a promotion for necromancy and mediums and witchcraft. They were just promoting Whoopi as a witch. But that part is true. There's a light there. Read.
79. If it is one of those who have shown
So
scorn...
water for those that are helping. Read.
If it is one of those who have shown scorn and have not kept the way of the Most High, who have despised his law and hated those hated those who fear God,
and they hate those who fear God, that they form a hatred against the servants of God, brothers and sisters. Read.
such spirit shall not enter into habitations.
Such spirit shall not enter into habitation. They're in trouble with the Most High. Read.
But shall immediately wander about in torments, always grieving and sad in 7 ways.
Grieving and what? Sad in 7 ways. Now think about it. They're taking their sorry sadness to death with them. What they couldn't let go, what they couldn't forgive, the darkness that drove them into dissension, heresy, and hatred, that goes nowhere. It goes in a place where what? A place that was made that can relate to what's in them. They're sad, they're sorry, they're miserable, they're hate, all the hate, it goes to the place that's prepared for that. In 7 ways. The first way is what?
Because they have scorned the law of the Most High.
Because they knew they were wrong, and now they can do nothing about it. And the law of the Most High isn't just what's written in the law of Moses. It's exercising that law through the Spirit of Christ when it comes to forgiveness. The second way.
Because they cannot now make a good repentance so that they may live.
They cannot go back and change anything. At least on earth, we have an opportunity to talk to people and interact with people to fix issues, to try to make amends while there's still life on earth. But after this, it's too late. Now the regret sits in. The regrets. Now imagine after death, in your mind, the only thing that you can deal with until the final judgment are the regrets. And think and understand this. These thoughts never go away until Christ judge one and throw them in the fire they can look forward to. These thoughts are continually without rest. So that's why it's upon us to fix things while we're living. The second way, because they cannot make a good repentance so that they may live. There is no, my bad, I was sorry. None of that. There's no opportunity after death. The third way.
They shall see the reward laid up for those who have trusted the covenants of the Most High.
They're able to see those who did right by the Most High, who had an opportunity and dealt with their affairs righteously on earth. They're able to see people who did it the right way on the other side. The fourth way.
They shall consider the torment laid up for themselves in the last days. The fifth way.
The only thing they can look forward to is the torment that comes with them and the fallen angels dying together when Christ judge in the final judgment. They have to stay there 1,000 years during Christ's judgment. Even in the first resurrection, they're still there. They have to be there for a whole 1,000 years after Christ returns, and then they're thrown into the fire, which is the second death. And in the second death, they feel that torment, that torment in the fire for an eternity. Because what? The Most High never made a spirit. All spirits were made to live forever because we are of its essence. We're from the Most High. So not only do they have to stay there for another 1,000 years after Christ's reign, they must feel the fire of the torment that was made for the angels, the fallen ones. That's the fifth way. They shall see how the habitations of the others are what?
Are guarded by angels in profound quiet.
And they're looking at us on the other side, and the righteous on the other side, the saints on the other side, where there's profound quiet. But there's no peace where they are. Now we understand in Luke 16, where the rich man was saying, Lazarus, dip your finger and give me a little water. The streams of paradise are there on the right side, and you got the fire burning in the place of torment that separates the third heaven, which is the righteous place, from hell itself. Read.
The sixth way.
The sixth way.
They shall see how some of them will cross over into torments. The seventh way, which is worse than all the ways that have been mentioned, because they shall utterly waste away in confusion.
So they take the confusion they're living with them. See? Now, one thing about the confused, so not to repent, they seek to confuse others. The only way they're satisfied in their confusion, if they know they're not alone. So they believe that the doubt that's in them, others should doubt the same because they're confused. Instead of repenting, they live with the confusion and convince others, well, that ain't right because I'm confused. And are too proud to get the answers. See? But they take the confusion with them. Here's a place where your confusion works out perfectly. Okay? And it says what? They waste away in confusion. Read.
And be consumed with shame.
And they are confused. They are what? Consumed with shame. Because that's in them too. Because on earth, they know they're wrong, but are too proud to say they're wrong. But they're shameful. In their mind, when they're to themselves, they feel ashamed. They take that with them too. And shall what?
It says here,
And shall wither.
And shall wither with fear at seeing the glory of the Most High, in whose presence they sinned while they were alive, and in whose presence they are to be judged in the last times.
And now they're standing before the power of the Almighty ashamed. Like, why didn't I do what Christ said when I had an opportunity? And then on top of that, listen to this. You cannot utter a word before the Almighty during this journey. Can't say nothing, you just have to take it. Read on.
88. Now this is the order of those who have kept the ways of the Most High, when they shall be separated from their mortal body.
This is what happens to the righteous after death. Read.
During the time that they lived in it, they laboriously served the Most High.
While they lived in it, they laboriously served the Most High. The Most High told them to do the work, and they did it. And never stopped. It became their labor on earth to bring the kingdom here. It became their service, and they never stepped back from it. Now, this is the order of those who have kept the ways of the Most High, when they shall be separated from their mortal body. During the time that they lived in it, they laboriously served the Most High. That was their focus. Their focus wasn't dissension. Their focus wasn't heresy or rumor, innuendo, stumbling people. Their work was the labor. What they're bringing forth is it bringing people to the Almighty. Is it bringing people closer to God in Christ? Or is it confusing them and or stumbling them? During the time that they lived in it, they laboriously served the Most High. And what?
And withstood danger every hour, so that they might keep the law of the lawgiver perfectly. Therefore, this is the teaching concerning them. First of all, they shall see with great joy the glory of him who receives them, for they shall have rest in 7 orders.
They shall have rest in 7 orders. Now, mind you, brothers and sisters, this is what Lazarus is experiencing in the book of Luke 16. On the other side. Right? Where the rich man is seeing Lazarus in profound quietness. Chilling. The first order.
Because they have striven with great effort to overcome the evil brought that was formed with them.
The evil thought
that was formed with them.
That was formed with them. Read.
So that it might not lead them astray from life into death.
From life into death. Okay. Let me do this. What verse you at?
93.
93. Hey, we're going to finish this one out. So I'm going to do that right here live. Right here, right? On this page here?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to do this thing live. One second. Because we showing it plain like that, I'm going to do the other page. I forgot to take a picture of them, but do that live here. Hold on. One second, folks. Let me grab it for you. I took a picture out of the book here. Teams. All right. One second. There it is. Got it here. Boom, there it is. All right, right here. All right. That's the right one, right?
Should be verse 93.
Right here, right?
Right here.
Did I take a picture of that? That's the wrong one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, the wrong one.
Let me see. Right here, right? That's what I thought I took a picture of. Oh, okay. One second. Bear with me, folks. See, one second. So what happens? Read the last one again.
Yes, sir.
Right here, just the
Just pull it up here. Do you have it here?
Yeah, that's good.
Yep. 88. Now this is the order of those who have kept the ways of the Most High, when they shall be separated from their mortal body.
Come on.
During the time that they lived in it, they laboriously served the Most High and withstood danger every hour, so that they might keep the law of the lawgiver perfectly. Therefore, this is the teaching concerning them. First of all, they shall see with great joy the glory of him who receives them, for they shall have rest in 7 orders. The first order, because they have striven with great effort to overcome the evil thought that was formed with them.
The evil thought that was formed with them, go ahead.
So that it might not lead them astray from life unto death.
Come on. I got it right here now. Hold on, let me download it here. All right, bear with me, folks. I think I have it here. Yep. This is the one here. Yep, got it. All right. Okay. It's a little blurry, but I still got it. The second order.
The second order, because they see the perplexity in which the souls of the ungodly wander, and the punishment that awaits them. The third order, they see the witness that he who formed them bears concerning them, that throughout their life they kept the law with which they were entrusted.
They kept the law in which they were entrusted, including the law of Christ, to love thy neighbor as thy love thyself. The fourth order,
they understand the rest that they now enjoy, being gathered into their chambers and guarded by angels in profound quiet.
in profound quiet, like Lazarus was. And folks, they're not bound by time or space. So when the resurrection happens and they come back, it's going to be like they just died. That's how deep this is. In a twinkling of an eye, it's going to be like they just fell asleep and came back. Read.
They shall rest, they shall understand the rest that they now enjoy, being gathered into the chambers and guarded by angels in profound quiet, and the glory waiting for them in the last days.
In the last days, read the fifth order.
They rejoice that they have now escaped what is corruptible and shall inherit what is to come. And besides, they see the straits and toil from which they have been delivered, and the spacious liberty that they are to receive and enjoy in immortality.
And they see the life on earth, immortality after the resurrection. They know that they'll live forever. Look at that. The fallen angels who were made to live forever are tormented. And those that are in Christ who had to die, immortality. Right? People who would appreciate what the fallen angels denied by rebellion. Immortality. They had immortality and lost it. And through that, they die. See? Read.
The sixth order, 97.
The sixth order.
When it is shown them how their face is to shine like the sun, and how they are to be made like the light of the stars, being incorruptible from then on.
Being incorruptible from then on. Read. The seventh order.
Which is greater than all that have been mentioned, because they shall rejoice with boldness, and shall be confident without confusion.
Without confusion, read.
And shall be confident without confusion, and shall be glad without fear.
Glad without fear.
For they press toward to see the face of him whom they have served in life, and from whom they are to receive their reward when glorified.
Christ, read.
This is the order of the souls of the righteous, as henceforth is announced, and they previously mentioned are the ways of torment that those who would not give heed shall suffer hereafter.
Read. Then I answered and said.
Then I answered and said, will time therefore be given to the souls after they have been separated from the bodies to see what you have described to me?
So when someone dies, Ezra is asking, will souls see what you've just explained to me? Read.
He said to me, they shall have freedom for 7 days.
A 7-day journey, read.
So that during these 7 days they may see the things which you have been told, And afterwards they should be gathered in their habitations.
And after that, they will be gathered into their habitations, which means they'll either end up in the bosom of Abraham, of course, in church. Thank you, TJ. We were taught in church, you go to heaven or hell. Well, the bosom of Abraham is that example of what we used to call heaven. And hell are the torments. And there's a 7-day journey where whether you good or bad, you see it all. But eventually you go into your place. Now, also, either the righteous place, if we do right while on earth, will have the quietness that comes with the resurrection. Or if we scorn, divisive, evil, lying, deceiving, all the things that we know is wrong against God's law, there's a place for it. And it's called hell. And when you see the earth crack, guess what, folks? It's showing you that the people are sinning and there's no room there left. So when you see these earthquakes and all that, that's what you're seeing. The earth responding to the fact that hell has enlarged itself and has bust wide open. When now the souls that are on the sides of torment are packed in one amongst one another. That's how uncomfortable it is. And think about someone, a soul there, being packed up with all the sinners for thousands of years without rest until Christ judge in the final what? The final resurrection, which is the second death according to Revelation 20. Brothers and sisters, we all have an opportunity. Choose your side carefully. And based on our actions in the earth, understand, it's not the Most High who send any person anywhere. It's our actions while on earth. We choose the habitation we'll be in after death based on our personal actions on earth. Understand that. The Most High have the whole thing set where the life we live leads to a judgment or a habitation or where he'll hold us until the judgment. I thank the Most High for sending his son, for the mercy and the knowledge and the light to understand what many couldn't understand in this earth for generations. And I've been seeking to know, well, what happens after all of this? And the Most High revealed it through his prophets. And today, through the gathering of Christ Church, it has been delivered to you. Give full honor and reverence to Ahia, Ahia. That's the name of God. And his son, Yeshua, our Savior. Through the Holy Spirit, the Ruach. I hope this particular lesson help all those who may view this from this day forward. Help you on your journey with the understanding to what? To know the God who has awakened us all. I'll see you tomorrow in the academy. And yes, we're back. What are we dealing with, Elder Lawyer?
We have a brand new lesson, the 12 Lost Tribes Found.
The 12 Lost Tribes Found, revisited. It's time to bring that thing up to date. And we'll do that tomorrow in the academy. Of course, you can support the church. $ GOCC report through Cash App. Go to gatheringofchrist.org under donate. You can always donate tithes, offerings, whatever you see fit that you can afford to help the church go forward. There's also a drop down if you want to support the I Am Royal School for our children. And understand, whatever you contribute towards, that's where your money goes.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay? And thank you all here. Thank you for supporting the chat with the monetary help that you do for these particular broadcasts. We really love you. We thank you for all your support. And above all, continue in prayer. We need those prayers and your spiritual support on the outside of these teachings, that the Most High can protect us going forward to finish the work Christ has entrusted in this particular ministry. With that, we're going to say, stay prayed up, sin not. We will soon see Israel. And yes, we are the children of Israel, and we are back. You all have a pleasant, blessed Sabbath. Ahayah's calling back Israel. Oh.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. The highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us.
Good point.
Together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. Asher in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, from the the Negroes, Benjamin the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians.